Welcome to the Profitable Web Designer Podcast, the place where women web designers come to raise their prices, book higher paying projects, and run their web design businesses without overwhelm and burnout. I'm your host, Shannon Mattern, Pricing Strategist and founder of the Web Designer Academy, where you're just one proposal away from the money you truly deserve to be making. And I'm here to help you build a web design business that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside. So let's go ahead and dive into this week's episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Profitable Web Designer Podcast. And today I am bringing you our July 2026 income report, and I'm joined by Erica Nash, my right-hand woman, our client success coordinator at the Web Designer Academy. Welcome, Erica.
Hey, glad to be here.
I feel like we just did this for our June income report episode because we ended up recording it later than we normally would have. So I'm just like, didn't we just do this like a week ago? It feels like.
Because we were here, there, and everywhere. So
oh my gosh. So if you're new to the show, every month I record an income report episode and we break down how much the business made, how much we spent, and what happened, and all of the lessons learned along the way. And we hear consistently that this is your favorite episode. So it's ours too. So we're going to keep doing these as long as we keep getting that feedback. And so the format is that Erica asks me all the questions. It goes where it goes. And we try to stay within an hour, even though we could probably talk for 5 hours about all of the things. So yeah, Erica, I'm going to hand it over to you and let's get into it.
Amazing. Let's dive in. So yeah, let's start with how much the total inflow was for July 2026 and where did it come from?
So the total inflow for July 2026 was, drumroll please, let's see, $38,376.88. And that came from mostly Next Level Mastermind, the Next Level Mastermind retreat, which sold out in like an hour, literally, not even joking. And then that was the first big chunk of that. The second chunk of that came from the beta cohort of the package matrix method, the enrollments that fell in July. And then in third place is the Web Designer Academy. So payment plans for that. And I don't think we had any renewals or new enrollments in July. And then I had some affiliate income come in from some things that I have promoted and been a part of. But yeah, Next Level Mastermind and package matrix method, man, they're
leading the way.
They're leading the way.
So let's talk about the outflow. Where did it go? What was the total outflow?
Yeah. So the outflow in July was pretty standard, about $17,151.46. And that went to me and you, our paychecks. And because we're W-2 employees of this company, we get a paycheck. Our taxes come out of my business bank account and flow through our paychecks straight to the IRS. And then I have extra taxes as the owner of the company that I pay just straight out of the company, payroll taxes that don't flow through our paychecks. So that is about 10,000 of that 17,000. And then the rest of that, the next highest expense we have every single month is our podcast production, our conversion rate optimization that we do with Lee Scott. And also I decided in July to sponsor a summit that Sarah Noel Block of Tiny Marketing, who is on this podcast that she's hosting, called the Solo Consultant Summit, because several of the people who joined the package matrix method beta cohort came from a partnership that I did with her, like directly. And I got to pay her out some affiliate commissions for that. So then when the opportunity came to sponsor her summit, I'm like, it is proven that she has the audience for the package matrix method. Why not go ahead and test out if sponsoring her event will result in more students for that. So I spent $1,000 on that sponsorship. And then next up is just general overhead, about $1,800. And that is all of our tools and just everything that we need to run this business, hosting, subscription, software as a service, all of that type of stuff. And then I also I work with Jen Boss, who is a financial strategist, and I pay her quarterly. So her quarterly payment came out in July, and we met and we went over my mid-year, so we can talk a little bit about that. Yeah, so that's really what makes up the bulk of those expenses. So, and then for the next level retreats, even though I got a lot of cash coming in the door for that, that will be going back out the door in October and November as I start to like pay for things related to that. So the inflow is good, the cash flow is there, the cash is there, but it's earmarked to go right back out the door in November. So really, if I pulled that out of the 38, the inflow was like 21. And then the outflow was like 17. So just because I never really treat that next level retreat money as spendable until after the retreat is done and whatever's left over goes in operations.
So this might kind of cut into the next question that we typically talk about, but I would love to chat about your outflow of time. Just like thinking about the summer, thinking about June and the month that it was, and then July and the month that it was, and like the revenue that you brought in. How does your outflow of time look currently? And is it like where you want it to be?
So in July, we closed the business the first month of July. So we're offline the first month of July, or first month of the first week of July. So the 6th through the 10th, we were closed. The Web Designer Academy was closed, I should say. And then I also went on an Alaskan cruise in July. So that's been on my like bucket list of I wanted to see Alaska. I got to do that with some of my best, oldest friends. We went on an Alaskan cruise. And so it was not business as usual for me from July 6th all the way through the 17th, 18th, 19th. And then it was back to business as usual on like the 20th. So that's not normal for me. And I took a lot of time off. But what I will say is like I worked on things through that. Like I worked on package matrix method things and like some foundational things. I almost feel like that time is like a mid-year reset to kind of set the stage for what's next more than like time off. But what I'm finding is that I am really experiencing more of I work when I want to work and I don't work when I don't want to work. And that's how I want it. And I don't want hard and fast rules about it. And if I feel compelled and inspired to work on something over a weekend, I'm going to. I don't mind that. But I just don't let arbitrary boundaries of weekdays and weekends and what like define it. And just kind of like letting, because I used to try to make a rule like, I don't work weekends. And it's like weekend mornings are my favorite time to work on things because I don't have any meetings that I have to get ready for at any certain time. And I can really just kind of go with the flow. So I think that I've settled in to a rhythm and a flow around work. And also, I've taken more vacations this year than I think I ever have in my career. I started working the day I turned 16. I was so excited to get my first job on my 16th birthday was the day that I started. And I've taken more time off this year than I ever have since I turned 16. So 30 years, literally, exactly like 30 years. And I've taken more Tuesdays off, which that's kind of like a big deal because that's like the day all of the things happen, right? It's our Web Designer Academy live strategy call days. And I've been allowing myself to like reimagine what my schedule can even look like, which has been really interesting. So that's a long answer to your question, but my time has looked more free, flexible would be the word. There's no have to or should in any of it.
I love that so much. And like, I can see that even in the past 5 years, like you've come a long way in that sort of like rigidity of, there would be times where like you were thinking about being gone and you were like, but I don't want to miss the call. And I'm like, miss the call. Like it will be fine. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't. And like, I'm so glad that you have felt like you can do that. And everybody in the community would echo that as well. And I think that this is such an important conversation to have because I think as female business owners, especially ones that tend to be very type A and very by the book, we create cages and rules for ourselves and then like throw away the key and like we can't get ourselves out of them. And it can be really challenging. And also thinking about, I know that this is the income report. And so of course it's all about finances, but we know that business results are so much more than finances. And we have to look at our time as well. And like, at what cost of the finance sort of wins and things like that. And so I don't know. I just think it's such an important conversation. And I'm so glad that you're no longer in the cage.
The calendar cage.
The calendar cage.
Yeah, I've been in a calendar cage. I have always been like, oh, if it's on my calendar, it's set in stone, forgetting that like I'm the one that puts everything on my calendar and that it's not set in stone. And I think interestingly, like by the time this episode comes out, we will have experimented with a 6-month cohort model for the Web Designer Academy and made some changes or tested some changes, I should say, as to like how and when we're like enrolling for that program, when the marketing is happening, when even like changing like the times that the calls are happening. And one of the things that I reflected on that I don't know that I've talked about on this podcast explicitly yet in these income reports, but every single month, if you pay attention, you probably don't pay attention as much as Eric and I pay attention. What we're noticing is that the Web Designer Academy program revenue itself is diminishing, shrinking. Those aren't the right words. It's getting less and less every month as enrollments have slowed, and it's being made up for by other things. And that comes back to this time conversation too, because what I was noticing was that I was putting a disproportionate amount of time into marketing for a program that was not producing or had not been producing outcomes that deserved that much of my time. And because of that, it was keeping me from doing things that had been on my list, like breaking the package matrix method out and opening it to other freelancers and stuff, because I'm like, oh, but my calendar is built around all of these things that were built around the Web Designer Academy when the enrollments weren't coming in at a pace that was supporting the time that I was committing to it. And so really looking at that and getting clear, just looking at that and being like, I am costing myself. This has diminishing returns, and I need to put my time elsewhere in order to close this gap. That had to be done as well. It was becoming crystal clear that now is the time to try something different instead of to continue to try the same thing over and over and over and continuing to get like diminishing results. So that's part of the reason why package matrix method happened at the time that it did. But also part of the reason where we're like, we're going to shift to this cohort model and not have the doors be always indefinitely open, come in whenever you feel like it, because that hasn't been working for our time and things like that. There's so many other reasons. I'm sure at the point of recording this, we're opening applications for it tomorrow. I don't even know what that experiment's going to look like. We'll talk about it more in our August income report, but just even talking about why that decision is being made, a lot of it is tied back to like my time and where I've been spending it, or tear down some of those things that aren't serving the business anymore.
Mm-hmm. And so I guess a follow-up question then would be, if somebody, does it have to become, for lack of a better term, a dire situation for somebody to make changes inside their business where they see and like are like, okay, I need to like change some things? Or how do you do that sooner? Like, how do you recognize, oh, it's maybe safe to experiment with some other things?
That's such a good question. And for me personally, I can't see it when I'm in it,
Mm-hmm.
because what happens is I go into my tried and true fear response, which is fight. So if I'm looking at Web Designer Academy enrollments are lower than what we projected and planned this year, the only solution is to work harder to fix that. And fix that is a very rigid thing, too. It's like, if you projected X number of enrollments and enrollments are lower than that, then do whatever you can to raise the number of enrollments, which seems very logical on the surface. But what else could be true? And so if that's my operating system, then it's going to be like, oh, dig into like why enrollments are down. And all of those things are valid things, right? Like, of course, we should look at what did we change? What's the data telling us? Get into the analytics, conversion rate optimization. Is there an obvious thing that happened? What are some of our theories? I do have some theories. I have some theories like changing, pivoting away from profitable, sustainable messaging to you're just one proposal away messaging. Maybe that stopped resonating with our ideal clients. Things like that. It's been 1 year since our Web Designer Academy rebrand, and the rebrand itself and the brand system and everything that has freed up so much time. And also, I think my decision to tweak the messaging to being focused on proposals and package matrix could, I don't know, we have to see, could have affected Web Designer Academy enrollments. I don't think the rebrand did, because the rebrands made everything else we're doing happen faster and easier and work really well. So I don't think it's the rebrand itself versus like the words I'm using to talk about the Web Designer Academy. Maybe it's none of those things. I don't know. But if I have other opportunities on the table that I have been not pursuing, how do I make the decision to just let this be what it is for a while and then go pursue those opportunities? I had to have other people tell me that's what I needed to do to get me out of the fight, right? And so that would be Jen Boss, who is my financial person, you and Lee, who are basically my sounding board and my team, to say, how about you let us focus here so you can go over here and test that out, and then we can get some data to see what's next. And just even like people that I'm in masterminds with, like I meet with Josh Hall and Jason Gracia once a month and we talk through things. I meet with my Columbus mastermind people. And when I'm getting the same message from all of those places, where it's like, why aren't you trying this yet? What are you waiting for? What's holding you back? We all see the opportunity. Then that's how I make those decisions. So I don't know if that answered your question, but like if I'm left to my own devices, I'm just going to keep staying in my fear response and fighting. I need other people to help me see what I can't see and help me create some safety to pursue that. I don't know why we expect ourselves to like do it alone in a vacuum without support.
So true. Yeah. And like, no matter what your fear response is, it's going to be a fear response that keeps you from seeing what's real and true and have a helpful response to that, because that's just not the nature of the fear response.
And then also like not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right? Like,
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, we created space for Package Matrix. Web Designer Academy is not going anywhere. We're not winding the program down. We are not taking it away, but some changes need to happen for it to earn the time that it's getting. And what does that need to look like for it to be sustainable for me to continuing offering that program? And yeah, so we're like, oh, well, what if one of the biggest objections we get from people is that like they're concerned about the time commitment and the price? Well, how could we make adjustments to that without losing what makes the Web Designer Academy work so well? And the 6-month cohort was a theory that we're currently testing to see if a shorter time frame, if it's half the time frame, it's half the investment. And does that shorter time frame overcome the objections that people have? What does it look like for us to like close the doors? That is something that I have really resisted over the years, because I'm like, when people need help, I don't want to turn them away. But at the same time, if there's no incentivization or a line in the sand for people to make a decision, they don't make a decision. And that doesn't help people either. So there's those things. So it's just like, we'll just see how it performs over the rest of the year and gather some data. And who knows? I have no idea what that picture is going to look like. No idea.
Yeah. And I mean, that is scary and kind of exciting at the same time.
But here's what I know about my business journey. I started in 2014 doing freelance web design. From there, I started teaching solo business owners how to DIY their website. I made money freelance web designing. I made money teaching people to do something for free. Like, I always figure it out. I always figure it out. And that's what I'm like reminding myself. And like, we just can't expect everything to always look the same, for it to never change, for things to keep working as well as they always did, or not work, or whatever. And so it has to, like, I could cling to what I think it should look like, or I can let go and just know that I'll be able to figure it out no matter what. And that second way of thinking is just freeing.
Yeah. Yeah. So much more helpful. I say scary in that, like, the unknown to me is just very scary.
Yeah.
And that second way of thinking is way more helpful.
I think there's a fallacy, like it's a myth that we can ever know anything.
Totally.
Yeah.
I don't know why I think that there is some sort of certainty that I can reach, because I know that's not the case. And I am constantly, I think, striving to, and I know that like we don't ever arrive, but like I feel like I am constantly trying to arrive at this place where I can be okay with the unknown. And I think that's also a bit of a fallacy. And so entrepreneurship is just uncomfortable.
It's an exercise in building resilience.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
sometimes things happen and you're not resilient when those things happen. And that's okay. Like, it's not like you're supposed to be impervious all the time and have resilience all the time, but it's just like, you got to be willing to get back up. And it's not for everybody. It's like, is the trade-off, I don't know. Is it worth the risk and the getting knocked down and the getting back up again and the building the resilience and the challenges? I still think that it is. I still think I prefer this over, maybe I just never had the right jobs. I loved my coffee shop job. I really, truly did love making lattes back in the day. That's probably my favorite job I've ever had. but I just can't see myself doing anything else.
Yeah. No, I trade my time freedom for the
certainty
classroom.
For faux certainty.
For faux certainty. Exactly. No, I'm out. No, thank you.
I'm certain I'm going to hate this, but at least I'm certain.
I'm certain. Yeah,
I'm certain this is miserable.
All the time. Yep.
But hey, at least I know what to expect. Yeah, no, pass.
Oh, yeah. That's where the stretching happens. So we talked about a few things, but were there any other important things that happened in July? Any lessons learned, realizations, breakthroughs, things like that?
So I enrolled people in the package matrix method beta cohort at the end of June and the start of July. And I've had 2 office hours with the people in that program. And I think the realization that I have, and I'm not beating myself up about this, by the way, but like, I think I thought that I was like, who am I to teach this to any solo consultant because I don't have experience? I've always just seen myself as like, I ran a web design business. I know how to do that. I have expertise in this area. I've helped hundreds of women web designers have success. But will that translate to other industries? And can I really help people? And that same old song, that's a bad song that I don't like, which is like, is the package matrix method really real? Like, I just made it up. Like, does it really work? Can it really help people? And like that, just that little imposter syndrome, fraudy thing that comes up every now and again, which of course it's going to come up every time I'm doing something new. I think what is so super interesting is that it's just different faces, different businesses, same exact challenges, thought errors, beliefs about their value, big dreams, desires, goals. They want the same things, just swap out web design business for whatever their business is. And I think experiencing helping the people who enrolled in the beta cohort with different business models and package matrixing different business models and just hearing the things that they are saying is just very validating in a way, or not it's validating, but it's also like it is pulling apart the Jenga tower of fraudy thoughts one by one. And I hope it falls down. I think it's like if it hasn't already fallen over, it's about to, and it should never get rebuilt again. And then I can really stop holding myself back. And I think I already have. We didn't talk about this in the June income report, but we had a meetup of Next Level Mastermind members. They came to Columbus. We rented an Airbnb and we spent 3 days together. There were 6 or 7 of us. And I was talking about how like I was still really nervous to like kind of say like I am a pricing expert for service providers. And I talked about like how I was like still trying to like hide behind some things. And Lynn Davey, who's one of our Web Designer Academy Next Level Mastermind students, like her face just was like hilarious. And she was just looking at me like in disbelief, right? And she was like, Shannon, you hide about as good as my cat hides when it thinks it's hiding and its butt is like hanging out of the laundry basket, but it thinks it's completely hidden. She's like, you're not hiding. Everybody can see this. You're not hiding. If you think you've been hiding, you haven't been hiding. And I was just like, oh my gosh, she's so right. I felt so free after she said that. I'm like, oh, something in my subconscious is telling me that I've been hiding and like I'm safe here. But she's just like, what are you talking about? Like, you're hiding as good as my cat thinks it's hiding. And like, they like drew a picture, like, it was hilarious. And I was just like, oh, well, if I haven't been hiding all this time, like I thought I was, and nothing bad has happened, well, now I'm just free to just go for it.
Yeah.
And so I think that has been the biggest shift that has truly happened. That happened in July. Is just like, I'm like, beta cohort, bring it on. Let's go for it. And I have no doubt that I can help any of them. And that has turned into so many opportunities that I could say have come out of nowhere, but they have come out of the fact that like I've been pursuing them and creating them and planting seeds for them. And then the seeds are growing and turning into fruit that spreads more seeds. It's like a dandelion that when it turns into its puff and then those seeds blow, and who knows where they blew, but they landed somewhere, grew something else. That's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And if I thought I was hiding, I would be like, I'm not ready for that thing that just landed in my inbox.
Yeah.
And I would probably sit on it for a few, like now I'm just like, I have a little label that I made for lead generating opportunity. And I like respond to those first and just like,
amazing.
So things are happening. And I think, yeah, just owning that I am a pricing expert. Like, how could I not
totally.
be?
Absolutely. And the thing that sticks out to me in that whole conversation is you said that you made up package matrix, like you made it up. Well, yeah. Yes, that's what IP is. And that doesn't mean it doesn't work. Like, we have all the evidence that it works. So yes, you did make it up, and it's because you're brilliant and you are an expert. And that's why you're able to have this and it actually work. So yeah.
Well, thank you for that. And I will say, I have had, like everybody else, I was influenced by mentors and like different, and
for sure.
So I don't want to be like, oh, I never researched anything or tried different things from different people. I don't want to backpedal and like not claim like my authority and expertise, but I'm like, oh, I learned this thing and I tried parts of that and parts of it worked and parts of it didn't.
Yes.
And I pulled this piece in and then I experimented here. And then there were derivatives and evolution that became this thing. But I think there was part of me that was like, well, no one told me this is correct. And I think we a lot of times all hold ourselves back from really just going all in on what we know that we know because nobody else told us that this is correct.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you do
just
have to
letting
have,
go of the idea that I need that permission from anywhere.
Yeah. Your level of self-confidence and like confidence in what you do know has to be really strong and like profound. But also, yes, you did take things from people you knew and all of that, but you meshed it with your experience and with like you made it better. And like literally that's how anyone has ever made is. Like, they've taken all of the things they've learned and then they meshed it with their experience and they created the thing.
Created something new. Yeah.
Exactly. And so it is absolutely yours. It is absolutely something that we have lots and lots of evidence for that it works. It does. And it's been fascinating to see like this new wave of students come in and apply the principles. I think it's given really interesting perspective, like for us to see other people apply the strategy and to look at it through fresh eyes, like on our side, and like how things can get applied and like what rules might need to be not shifted or changed, but like adapted to like how people run their specific businesses within their own industry. Or, oh, this is a good idea. How can we apply this to the Web Designer Academy community and like things like that? So I think that it has been just like a really fascinating experience, but I also hope that it has been, I don't know, really like helping you solidify just the idea that this is really powerful.
The fact that I get so delighted and excited when I see how people are applying it to their businesses. I was making a video for someone who had like submitted, they're like, here's what I did. And I was like, maybe I need a hobby or something. But like, because this delights me so much, like this makes me happier than, I don't know. I love getting a package of something that I forgot to order or something. Forgot that I ordered, or like all those little surprises and delights. But the joy that I felt at like seeing it used in these new and different ways. And I think that's what makes me really excited about the Web Designer Academy too, about the 6-month cohort, is that like, it is my full, like, we have brought so much more power is not the right word, but like what you just said, the learning that we're doing and the tools that we're creating to help expedite the creation of a package matrix, like that's all going right back into the Web Designer Academy and making that, just bringing that forward, using AI to generate package matrices and like shaving the time off of that and things like that. So yeah. And I think the other thing was like claiming my expertise in this area. Like we're going to be certifying people in the methodology so that they can build package matrices for their clients and add that as a service or teach it within their programs if it's aligned. And I have to believe and know that this is a method that works if I'm going to be like, and you're certified to teach it, you've met all of the criteria, and like I have to believe that it's real, like all of that, that I'm not a fraud, like all of those things. And so, yeah, I just think back in my early days of growing my business, I was profiled in Chris Guillebeau's book, Side Hustle School. And that was like a really cool experience. But the write-up that he did in there, he was like, no one told her that she was certified or qualified to do this. She just claimed it and went on to do it. And that was the whole premise of his book, is like, stop waiting for somebody to give you the certificate or anoint you as the chosen one who's allowed to go do this thing. Just go do it. And it's like I'm relearning that lesson here. And I want every single one of you listening to this to know that nobody needs to like certify or anoint you in your expertise, that you know what you know, like, and it's valuable. So you can kind of stop searching for that permission and just give it to yourself.
Yeah. And truly, like I was thinking while you were talking, I don't know. We all fall into that, right? Where we're searching for somebody to like give us the permission and like validate us and all of that stuff. I don't know that there would be like a person to like give the permission. We would maybe get the validation and then we would need more and more and more and more to continue feeling safe and okay in that level of expertise. And so I don't think that you can ever find enough unless you find it within yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and there are even like, I think about like continuing education or college programs. You were in education. There are many, many people who decide like, yes, this is accredited, this meets our standards, like whatever. And also, whatever the accrediting body decided met the standards could be irrelevant and obsolete 6 months later. And so there's a constant process of like, so if you're operating in integrity and you're not, you know, you don't need to wait for somebody to anoint you.
I'm not certain that any level of certification, accreditation, degree, whatever, is still enough to like fulfill that need for
Yeah.
because I mean, like I used to be a teacher. I still felt like not fully certain I knew what I was doing in my 10th year. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
there's just that level of like, it has to come from within.
And also the expectation that someday I'll know enough or I'll know it all or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, no, the skill is that you can continue to learn and evolve and
Mm-hmm.
grow as you go. That's the skill, not being like, I know everything, I have arrived.
Yeah.
Like, now it's time. It's like, that day's never coming.
Yeah. It circled back to
Mm-hmm.
not arriving.
Yeah.
We
So
don't
I think
arrive.
like July 2026 is probably like one of the pivotal months in the story of that I'll be telling in 5 years of
Mm-hmm.
the move from focusing exclusively on web designers to focusing on web designers and
Yeah. Yeah. This summer felt like a big one. It
yeah.
felt like a big one. It's just different than
Mm-hmm.
previous ones. Yeah. In a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way. What else? Was there anything else in July that we need to share?
Yeah. So I think that the last thing that happened, like near the end of the month, was that I met with my financial strategist, Jen Boss, and we
Mm-hmm.
reviewed like the first half of the year, like what our plan was for the year, where we're at in terms of like being on track for that, what the second half of the year looks like. And we're definitely on track to meet our revenue goals. But the fascinating thing is that the money is not coming from where we planned it to come from. And that is not a problem. It's just really, really interesting
Mm-hmm.
to look at what that looks like. And that does show me it's like, okay, why not put my effort and energy behind the things that work easily? So, like at the end of July, also, I forgot to mention, I did an open enrollment for the Next Level Mastermind. So, I opened up applications, I sent out an email. I'm like, is this you? And I sent it to all of the web designers on my list, but also the new group of like service providers on my list. And I'm like, is this you? And the Next Level Mastermind avatar, for lack of a better word, is a little bit different than the Web Designer Academy. And I had 10 people apply for Next Level, 3 people ultimately enroll in Next Level. And it's just effortless isn't the right word because it does require my effort, but it's
It's
the
upstream
pay, like
or
the
downstream.
return on
What is it?
investment is there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's just telling. And so at that little mini retreat that we had with some of our mastermind members in person in June, we were just talking about like, this room is growing
Mm-hmm.
and it's amazing and it's awesome. And how can we continue to add to it without breaking what makes it special? And their feedback was really interesting and valuable to how that can work. So, yeah, we're just going to see where that goes. And we've talked a lot about Next Level on this podcast, but it's really about helping people to stop throwing out their entire business model every time they run up against challenges and rebuild the exact same problems with a different niche and business model over and over and over again and never get to the place that they're actually trying to go.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like we said earlier, to have that group of people who know where you're trying to go and who can see what you cannot see and
Mm-hmm.
can see when you're about to fall into or about to like step into that trap that you constantly find yourself stepping in that you can't seem to not step in when you're saying something and the room's like, here's another way to look at this. Remember when you said that the last time? I noticed that you're thinking this thing and can really kind of help redirect you in a really supportive way. So yeah, it's really unlike anything else. But it's like, that's what happened in July too. And like, it was so, I don't want to say a non-event, but it was just like so easy to do that it doesn't. I think that's another thing I get to learn is like, it gets to be easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it's not
Yeah. And
easy,
it
how
doesn't
can I
have to
make it
be
easy?
weird that it's easy. Yeah. Yeah. I was reflecting back. I think the first month was either February or March where you were like, this was a little weird. Like our money this month, like wasn't really coming from Web Designer Academy. And it was like almost, you were like kind of feeling on shaky ground. Like this was not okay. We got to fix this. And look at where we are. Like that feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
Like that truly feels like, I don't know, different business, different person, different, like the whole shebang.
And it's not to like discount or diminish the Web Designer Academy.
No.
Like we have incredible women in that program. We still commit the same amount of resources to the delivery of that program as we always have. What's changing is the amount of resources I'm putting into the marketing and enrollment of that program 24/7, 365. It's now going to not be always on. And it's going to be scheduled so that there are times when I am promoting it, times when I'm not. I can put my time in other places. And so the intent with the cohort model, by the time I'm giving the August income report, I could be reporting that we had 0 enrollments in that cohort and the test didn't work. I don't know what I could be reporting, but whatever the data is, it's going to tell us something and it's going to give us some information to make some decisions going forward. But the whole point is like, I get to reallocate how I'm spending my time. And I'm spending a disproportionate amount of time on marketing and sales. And I'd love to spend that doing other things.
Yeah. And what I notice is a big difference is just, you talk about this a lot about where your business leaks things.
Yes.
Like leaks time and money. What I am seeing is that like your capacity is not leaking like it was leaking before. You know, you're not having to, I don't know, it's just like the mental, not as much mental stamina maybe is required. Like not to say that you're not still putting, you know, mental space into it. Obviously you are, but not like where it was taking everything from you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing, which I love.
Well, thank you. Yeah. When you love something and you know how good it is and you know how people's lives are transformed and their businesses are transformed when they say yes, it's really hard to be like, I need to detach myself from working so hard to get people to say yes.
Yeah.
And like, just let it be. Just let it be what it is. And yeah, so I needed to unwind and unintertwine. That's it. I don't know if that's a word. Unintertwine all of that. Because I think it got like really all wrapped up and it needed to not be. So,
yeah.
Well, we got to wrap this episode up because our Web Designer Academy Live strategy call is starting in just a minute. So, thank you all so much for listening. I'm excited to share our 6-month cohort experiment results with you next month. No idea what is going to happen, but you know, we share all the things here. So we'll let you know how it goes one way or another. So
for sure.
Any last words before we wrap up, Erica?
I think the theme for today was really taking stock, just like kind of looking at everything, taking stock of your time, of your energy, your capacity, your resources, all of those things that really are finite. And I don't know, allowing yourself to make some decisions outside of the cage. So, yeah.
Like letting go of clients that drain you. There's so many things that could be in that. So All right. Well, that's a wrap on the July 2026 income report. And we'll see you back here next week. Bye, everyone.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.